welcome back to ViewPoint TV. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Dalia. So today I'm starting off this new series and it's called Tea Talk Tuesdays. So every Tuesday I'm going to have a video up where I'm just going to sit down casually and chit chat with you guys. I'm going to choose a topic and I'm going to discuss it. It could be a motivational one, just any really random topic that comes to mind that might inspire, motivate, or make us think. So today's topic is going to be self-love and what it means to love yourself. I noticed that now we live in a world where we're constantly trying to please others and we're constantly waiting for the likes on Facebook, the likes on Instagram, and you know, it's almost like a narcissistic world, but it's just the type of world we live in. But sometimes I wonder, like, do we do these things because we're trying to seek the love from others, or do we actually really love ourselves? Now, I'm going to speak on myself. As I'm getting older, I just turned 26 and I finally realized how to love myself. Now, for some of you that might sound a little conceited, but it's not. It's actually really positive to make sure you find the time to love yourself. Now, I have my tea over here. I forgot to mention that earlier, so make sure you grab a tea. This might be a long video, and if you want to know how to love yourself, then you know, grab a cup of tea, stick around, and we'll discuss it. We'll get right into it. So I find that there's a few steps. I found there to be about 8 steps to self-love. The first one is being mindful. So when we say mindful, what does that mean exactly? For me, being mindful is knowing what you feel and what you want. Not what others want of you, or what you're trying to put out there in the world so others will love you. No, it's what you want. It's being mindful of who you are as a person. Now, you may not be there at that point yet, and you might get there eventually. It's really good tea. So every now and then I'm probably gonna take a sip because after all, it is Tea Talk Tuesday. But going back to mindfulness. So being mindful of who you are, what you think, how you feel, so being in the moment. If you're feeling upset about something and you want to cry, it's okay to cry about it. There's no shame with that. And this goes for both men and women, I think. It's also acting on self-improvement of oneself. So if you feel like, you know, you want to exercise more, but you're not really finding the time, well, you have to be mindful of that. How can I organize my day so I can squeeze in, even if it's 10 minutes of exercise? That could be a few push-ups, a few sit-ups, a few squats, if that's what it is, but making sure that you're aware of that and finding the time to do that. The next one for me is affirmation. So what does affirmation mean? Well, it's words to build yourself up. Oftentimes we find the words to take ourselves down, whether that's, oh my god, I did so terribly today on that test, oh, I performed so poorly today at work, my boss is so mad at me, and we oftentimes forget to recognize what we do that's good. Now that's perfectly fine to say, oh, you know, I did really poorly today at work, my boss is really upset. Maybe it's, you know, deservingly so. Maybe you didn't perform as well, but it's okay. It's as long as you recognize that and you try and improve it for the next time. But at the same time, you have to recognize what is something good that you did today. You know, words to bring yourself and motivate yourself up. So that could be like, wow, today, for example, I told myself I'm gonna film 2 videos. So this is my second one. So I pretty much told myself, you know what, good job, Dalia. You managed to film your 2nd video right now. Keep up the good work, you know, just keep it up and you'll manage to get to where you wanna be. So something like that, as opposed to being like, oh my god, I'm so tired, I just did a 2nd video, I don't even know, people may not like this. No, just sticking to positive, reaffirming words. You just gotta be your biggest cheerleader sometimes, because you know, oftentimes we also live in a world where people can put you down, and you know, sometimes it's almost, I don't want to say natural, because we live in a world where people constantly feel that they need to give their opinion, and that can be hard, and sometimes it's good to hear people's opinions, but you need to be your own cheerleader. So not looking for someone else to keep rooting you on. That's fine to have support, but you also need to be your own cheerleader. Third thing is self-care. Now, what does that mean, self-care? Sometimes we're feeling down and you want to go to a friend and you want to vent to them and they're there for you, and that is absolutely fine. You can go to your parents and talk to them if you have that kind of relationship, whatever kind of relationship with you that you have with others. But the most important thing is trying to find the time to have self-care. So that could be anything of the basic needs. That means maybe eating healthier, because I mean, what you put in your body also affects how you feel, your mood, etc. Self-care could also fall under maybe joining a sports, maybe going to the gym, even if it's once a week. Self-care could even be something that takes your mind off the stresses of life. So even if it's you find a hobby, play an instrument, maybe draw, maybe write, those are ways that can help you when it comes to self-care. So the next one is gifts. Had to gift myself with a little sip of tea right there. So when you think of gifts, you're probably thinking birthday, Valentine's, Christmas, Eid, Ramadan, whatever it may be. Hanukkah, whatever celebration you might have, holiday, whatever it may be. Maybe that's the first thing that pops up in your mind when you think of gifts. But gifts don't necessarily mean that there has to be an occasion, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be from someone else. You can gift yourself something once in a while. Now, does that necessarily mean it has to be materialistic? No. Yes, of course, once in a while you want to treat yourself to a nice top, maybe some new makeup, maybe cologne, maybe perfume, whatever it may be. But gifting yourself could also mean that you're gonna treat yourself to something that might relax you or help you out. So that could be going to the gym, so getting a gym pass. If you can afford that, then that's fine. So you treat yourself in that sense. Doing a hobby, or having a hobby. So that could be a gift for yourself. If you want to enroll in some violin classes or some dance classes, whatever it may be, you're gifting yourself something that could uplift your mood, that could make you feel better. It's not necessarily waiting for someone to gift you something. The next one would be to protect yourself and creating boundaries. So I think that these two might seem like two separate topics for self-love, but I think they're actually two topics that go hand in hand. So what does that mean to protect yourself? If you find that you have toxic people in your life, then that might mean cutting them off. And it might be difficult because they might be people that you once really cared about, but if you find that there's something that constantly brings your mood down or your energy down, and you finally pinpointed what that is and who that is, that might mean eliminating that person from your life. People do come and go, and it doesn't necessarily mean just because you've been friends with that person for X amount of years that you are bound to them and you have to stay friends forever. No, people move on in life, people grow up, people grow apart, and sometimes, and most of the time, you might start to notice that maybe being two different people completely, maybe something that they're doing is toxic for you personally, and maybe that means you might either need to distance yourself from that person, or you might need to cut them off. And that's okay. If that makes you feel better, then maybe that's what you have to do. Also, saying no to others. I don't know about you guys, but I'm the type of person that I always want to make others happy and I always want to please others, but I forget to please and make myself happy at times. So I always put people ahead of me. But, every now and then I have to remind myself, like, no, I can't be there for everyone, and I have to say no sometimes to people. And if they're gonna take that personally, then either we can talk about it, or then so be it, because I have to find time for myself. And that means that sometimes I might need to say no to someone or some people or whatever it may be. Maybe I'm getting a lot of different offers, or it could be something even like a job. Especially as a freelancer, you might get more than one option, and you know, you might find yourself being worn out or spreading yourself thin. So you have to learn to say, no, sorry, I can't do this. And that's okay, you're human. That could also be at work. So if your boss is putting on way too much work, or if you yourself want to prove yourself and you're finding that you're staying so many extra hours after work and maybe you're not even getting paid for it. Maybe you are, but money comes and goes. So you have to remind yourself that no, I need to say no to this. I need to punch out. If it means at 6 o'clock, so be it, because this is not healthy anymore for me and I need to take time for myself. And lastly, within that category, it's to love and respect yourself first. And I find that if you can't learn to do that, then there is no way you can love someone else. There is no way you can respect someone else. It all has to start with you. And you know, we probably hear that a lot, but it's very important. Self-respect and self-love. So, you know, those all tie in together. You can't invest all your energy respecting and loving someone else and not giving that time for yourself. Time. Time is of the essence, you know, we only live once. So, what does that mean? Time can mean spending time alone. I'm the type of person where every once in a while, I really don't mind going out by myself, sitting in a food court, in a restaurant, whatever it may be. Maybe I'm going to the restaurant to treat myself. I really wanted to try that new meal that I heard about on Blog TO or something like that. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go try it out. I don't always have to be with a friend to do that. Sometimes you need that time to yourself. So time is very important. Also spending time on the things you enjoy. That goes back to, you know, wearing yourself thin. So if you find that you're spending so many hours at work and maybe it's not even really taking you anywhere, and if anything, maybe it's adding more stress to your life or it's hurting you more and adding, you know, more negative energy, then taking that time for yourself to be like, you know what, I need to take a day off work, maybe two, if it allows, I mean, if your work allows it, and you know, everyone has different circumstances in life, so you might not be able to do that for whatever it may be. Maybe it's financial reasons, but even if it's finishing work, going home, taking a nice hot bath or a nice hot shower, or watching your favorite show, drawing something, writing something, you know, going to the gym, even just for it's half an hour, taking that time for yourself is very valuable and very important. It helps the mood, helps your energy, and that goes back to self-love. This tea is amazing. It's a peach flavor and I absolutely love it. Let me know in the comments below what tea you're drinking while watching this video, or what's your favorite tea in general. Maybe you guys can give me some suggestions. The next one is going to be improvement. So part of self-love is learning to improve yourself. You know, we are human and we have to remind ourselves that humans, we make mistakes. We have to forgive ourselves, you know, not to be too hard on ourselves. And also reminding yourself, you know what, I'm human. It's okay that it's not okay if I lied to that person, but recognizing what you did wrong, learning from it and growing, forgiving yourself. You can't beat yourself up over if someone chooses not to forgive you. So that kind of improvement, you know, recognizing what you did wrong and improving yourself, and that's fine because you're a human, and to be able to grow, you have to learn what you did wrong to be able to move forward in life. That's very important. Another thing with improvement is everyone is different. I mean, I'm the type of person that if someone gives me their opinion about something I'm doing wrong, my first reaction might be taken aback because I'm not used to someone pointing out my flaw that quickly. But you have to learn to listen to what that person is saying, you know, not just hearing them and moving on like, okay, thanks, that means so much. No, actually taking the time to listen to what they're saying and, you know, working on it. So if someone tells you, you know what, for example, I have a habit where when someone's talking, I tend to interrupt them a lot because I want to say my thoughts. So, you know, I have my friends here and there that will tell me, hey, you interrupt so much. And I have to take a minute to be like, I apologize, I'm sorry for doing that, and try to work on it and not to do that again. So it's okay to, you know, hear someone point out your flaws. It's okay. Of course, hoping that they're doing it in a respectful way, in a respectful manner, then you should be able to hear them out, listen to them, and try to improve that. Now, that being said, it's not to constantly try and improve yourself to please others. No, it's to realize, you know what, sometimes I don't see myself. Someone sees something that I don't see, and maybe that's just a flaw that I need to work on. And once again, recognizing I'm human, it's okay, it's not going to be fixed overnight. Maybe they're saying something that's for my own good, that could help me at work, that could help me with other relationships, and that's okay. Last but not least, I'm gonna end up with touch. Now that sounds a little weird when we talk about self-love and, you know, get your mind out of the gutter. None of those kind of ideas. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying by touch is learning to love your body. And this is another topic that I'm gonna get into more detail about probably in another video. But you have to find the time to love your body. Even if that means standing in the mirror and saying like, okay, I have these stretch marks, it's okay. You know, Kim Kardashian, you know, her body might look perfect, and I'm sure we've seen that in some, I think it was like a recent post where finally people noticed that her body is being photoshopped. And I'm not sure why it takes people so long. And I'm not completely hating on Kim Kardashian. She's a woman who's, you know, excuse me, who has also recently worked really hard on herself and her business, and okay, that's cool. We'll just use celebrities in general, you know, Photoshop is a big thing. So especially, this does not only go for women, this is also a topic, like I said, I'm gonna get into more detail about for the next video. But self-love also, yeah, looking at your body in the mirror and saying, you know what, I have these stretch marks, who cares? If you're a man and you look in the mirror and you know, you've always wanted that six-pack, and you know, you're looking at some sort of celebrity or your favorite soccer player and you're saying, wow, I wish I had that six-pack. It's okay to have, you know, people that we look up to, especially when it comes to fitness, but you also have to realize like, it's okay, it's gonna take some time, and I love my body at the moment, I'll get there, I'm gonna work on it. If that's really what you want in terms of fitness or nutrition, and it requires, you know, working out and going to the gym and whatnot, then it's okay. But at the same time, you don't want to get to a point where you're completely beating yourself up over it. And because this stems to potentially, for some people, greater problems, it could lead to bulimia, anorexia, self-harm maybe even, because we have this idea of what is perfection. So it's okay once in a while, and this takes time to look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love myself. You know, it's okay if I have these stretch marks. It's okay if I have some breakouts. It's okay if I have dark circles under my eyes. It's okay. You know, it's okay if my hair is looking frizzy today. It's okay if I feel like wearing sweatpants today. You know, that's okay. You know, you just gotta remind yourself that. And speaking of touch, that also goes to the last thing, which is exercise. Now, this may not be for everyone. What does it mean, touch, in regards to exercise? Since I was talking about touch, so, you know, the physical aspect, some people love to exercise and work out. It might be difficult for some of you. You may not financially afford to get a gym pass, and that's okay. But if you're, for example, the other day, I think I was doing laundry, and I told myself, okay, you know what, I'm standing here by the washing machine doing nothing, so why don't I just do a few squats? I think I did like about 10 or 15 squats, and that's okay. That took me maybe 2 minutes, maybe even less. For someone else listening to this, it might be like, really, what the heck is that gonna do? But that's okay. If that is something that, even if you squeeze in a little bit of exercise in your day, it's great. Maybe you're standing around moping back and forth about something. Maybe put on some music, dance a little, or jump up and down, do some jumping jacks, whatever it may be that will give you that feeling to recognize that you're trying to go into a healthier and positive mindset, and not just physical aspect. It's also, it helps with the mind. Then that has to do with touch, because you're touching those parts of you that probably you thought you could never touch, you know, in the sense that, oh, I never thought I could do 5 push-ups, and the next day maybe you're going to be doing 10 push-ups. So realizing that, no, I can do it. So I think that's pretty much it. You know, these are just some topics that I thought about, and I thought I'd talk about it today for the first episode of Tea Talk Tuesdays. And I'm hoping that I can come up with more topics that could motivate others. And this also, like for example, this topic today, it took me time because I sat there and I formed my thoughts and took some time to reflect upon what I personally have gone through or what I go through. And you know, this is a process that when it comes to self-love, just to go back on that for 1 second, it might take some time. It's not something that happens overnight. If you're in high school, it might be tough. Maybe you're being bullied at school, but let me tell you that people who bully, oftentimes they have maybe low self-esteem, something that they're struggling with, and they're taking it out on someone else, and that's not justifiable. But if you learn to really love yourself, maybe, depending on the situation, once again, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a mother, a teacher, whatever it may be, but you know, if you really try to love yourself, then you can conquer anything. And so that's the topic for today, self-love. Leave your comments below, let me know what you think, and let me know if you are excited for this series of Tea Talk Tuesdays. I think I am, you know, especially because I get to enjoy tea. I love tea. And last but not least, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to share this video with your loved ones. Maybe there's someone out there that you feel like, hey, maybe this will change their day. Share that video with them. Don't forget to subscribe to the video so you can get that notification whenever I put a new video up. And don't forget to leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any ideas for the next topic for Tea Talk Tuesdays. Alright, well that's about it. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!